Today we're focusing on Math Chapter 9, Length and Metric Units. We're looking at Lesson 9.5, Centimeters and Meters. For today's Listen and Draw section, you should have already watched the first video that was posted. If you haven't done that yet, please stop now and go back and do that first. Today's I can statement says, I can explain the difference in measuring with centimeters and meters. Let's take a look at the model and draw. It says 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. That means if I took 100 of those centimeter unit cubes and set them side by side, that would be the same as 1 meter. It says the real door is about 200 centimeters tall. The real door is about 2 meters tall. That's because 2 meters is equal to 200 centimeters. It would take a lot more centimeters to measure the same distance as meters because centimeters are so much smaller. Let's take a look at a conversion chart to help us understand how many meters are equal to how many centimeters. We know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. How many centimeters would be equal to 2 meters? 200 centimeters. How about 3 meters? 3 meters would equal 300 centimeters. Let's keep going in this conversion chart. 4 meters would be the same as 400 centimeters. You got it. 5 meters would be equal to 500 centimeters. 6 meters would be equal to 600 centimeters. 7 meters equals 700 centimeters. 8 meters equals 800 centimeters. 9 meters equals 900 centimeters. Remember, the M is an abbreviation for meter, and the cm is an abbreviation for centimeters. Here's a challenge question. How many centimeters are equal to 10 meters? Did you say 1,000 centimeters? Then you'd be correct. Let's take a look at your problem set. I'm looking at the share and show section. Because we are not at school, you may not have some of the objects we need to measure today, and you may not have a meter stick. So we're going to do the problem set a little differently today. I have pre-measured each of the objects to the nearest meter, and will give you that information. We'll use those numbers to help us figure out about how long each object is in centimeters. So the first object that we need to measure is the chair. A chair is about 1 meter tall. How many centimeters are in 1 meter? 100 centimeters. The next object that we needed to measure was a teacher's desk. So I went over to Mrs. Douglas's room and I measured her desk. Going across the desk, it's equal to 2 meters. How many centimeters would that be? Well, if 1 meter was 100 centimeters, 2 meters would be, what's 100 plus 100? 200 centimeters. Let's keep going. Take a look at number 3. It said we had to measure the length of the classroom wall. So our classroom wall was 8 meters. That's like saying how many centimeters? Well, I'd have to add up 8 100s, and that would equal to 800 centimeters. The next object I needed to measure was a chalkboard. I didn't have a chalkboard, but I did have a bulletin board. So I went and measured that, and I found that it was 4 meters long. About how many centimeters is 4 meters? Well, 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 equals 400 centimeters. I bet you're getting the hang of this. The next thing we needed to measure was a bookshelf going across lengthwise. And it is 1 meter. That's an easy one. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. The next object is a table. I measured the table in the back of our classroom and found that it was 3 meters long. 3 meters is the same as how many centimeters? 300 centimeters. All right, let's take a look at our first word problem. This is a go deeper problem. It says we need to write these lengths in order from shortest to longest. Our choices are 200 centimeters, 10 meters, and 1 meter. Well, it's easier to put lengths in order from shortest to longest if they're all using the same measurement. So I'm going to change 200 centimeters to meters. How many meters are equal to 200 centimeters? Well, remember, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, so 200 centimeters is 2 meters. Now I know all of my measurements in meters, and it'll be easier to organize them from shortest to longest. So I have 2 meters, 10 meters, and 1 meter. So the shortest would be 1 meter. The next shortest would be 2 meters or 200 centimeters, which means the longest measurement here is 10 meters. And that's how I should have them written on my paper. Our next word problem is a think smarter question. It says, Mr. Ryan walked next to the barn. He wants to measure the length of the barn. Would the length be a greater number of centimeters or a greater number of meters? Explain your answer. Well, imagine yourself walking along the side of a barn. Imagine you could use a centimeter cube to measure that, and imagine you can use a meter stick. Which one would it take more of? Definitely the centimeter cube because they're so much smaller. So we could write the length would be a greater number of centimeters because centimeters are smaller than meters. Because they are smaller, it's going to take many more of them to measure the same distance. Just like that warm-up. Go ahead and write that sentence down for number 8. If you need another moment, pause the video. Our last problem is another Think Smarter. It says write the word on the tile that makes the sentence true. So we can use centimeters or meters. And I'm going to use abbreviations, M for meters and cm for centimeters. Our first one says, a bench is 2 blank long. Well, think about a bench and think about those 2 units of measure. Think about a meter stick and think about a centimeter cube. How long would a real bench be? Definitely 2 meters long. A pencil is 15 blank long. Again, be thinking about those measurements in your head. Could you imagine a pencil that's 15 meters long? You'd have to put 15 meter sticks side by side by side. That'd be enormous. But if I think about 15 centimeter cubes, that would make a lot more sense. A paperclip is 3 blank long. Again, a paperclip is a very short object. I know this one's going to be 3 centimeters. And our last one, a bed is 3 blank long. Well, if you're sleeping in a 3 centimeter bed, I don't know how in the world you're getting in it without crushing it. So our bed would have to be 3 meters long. All right, awesome job on your problem set. Go ahead and work on your homework on your own and keep up the great work.